Digital Learning Reflection by Katie Lindley. Here's the timeline of my digital learning that I'm going to go through. In 1994, my first memories of a computer would be a large desktop in my family's office or computer room. That's right, one computer for a family of 5, housed in a single location for anyone to use. Since I was young, my computer time was limited to Barbie and educational games. The educational games were purchased by my mom to help me with my dyslexia mostly. Some of the educational games were phonics-based and math practice. 1998. As I got older and technology got smaller, I began to see computers more and more in school. In elementary school, I started with computer lab time. Every week, my class would go to the computer lab to play educational games. Computer lab time was seen as a reward for everyone. 2000. In middle school, we had even more computer labs, and students were given more time to use technology for school projects or assignments. I can remember making what I thought was an incredibly complex Titanic project on Microsoft PowerPoint. I spent hours designing, adding transitions and sounds to every slide. Looking back now, I think a Prezi would have blown away my middle school brain. 2004. In high school, all students were required to take a typing and Microsoft-based computer class. We learned how to use Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Paint, and maybe Publisher. The whole year we sat in front of the computer and followed these Microsoft how-to books. Teachers became more strict in their acceptance of papers and projects. Handwritten would no longer do. And this is when I first had to use an anti-plagiarism site, like Turnitin. 2007. I started college. Most of my classes were face-to-face, but some had an online component. A few semesters later, I took my first complete online class, which quickly became more and more popular. I can remember using Blackboard or something similar to Blackboard. I would read the notes online or print them, complete discussion posts, and take tests or quizzes online. Asynchronous learning was the only way that I knew online class could be. While I was doing some of my educational observations, I was assigned to a computer class at Navasota Middle School. This class was piloting Google Drive, Docs, and Slides. I learned so much about Google products in that class. 2012, I got my first job at Cardiff Junior High teaching 7th grade science. As a requirement for my class, I had to create a website with links and resources. If I remember correctly, I made a Google site and I managed it with my teammates. It was very basic, contact information, link to the online textbook, and maybe some digital files like PowerPoints and notes. In 2015, my district started a program to help teachers become more technologically savvy. Each person who enrolled in the program was given a laptop that was theirs to keep as long as they worked in the district. I still have mine today. We learned about the SAMR model and created a technology-based lesson for students. My lesson involved the ChatterPix app and students creating videos of different unique plant adaptations to teach other students about the plant. This year, I also started a professional Twitter at Lindley Science as part of a district push. In 2016, my district adopted the Canvas LMS and made learning how to use recommended but not mandatory. I took it upon myself to start to learn how to use Canvas and integrate it into my classroom as much as possible. I'd already started integrating technology more and more since the previous year and spent the second and third day of school teaching my students how to use Canvas and other technologies. 2018. Since we had Canvas and other technology in the district for a few years, it was still recommended that teachers learn the technology on their own or in professional development. Since I was somewhat familiar with many of the technologies, I applied to teach ICANN for the district. These cover topics from Google, Review Games, Canvas, and other technologies. 2019. I observed the Google certification course that was offered the previous year. The district had Google certified presenters teaching myself and the other teachers how to use Google application and later paid for us to to take the test. After taking the test for level 1 and passing, I took the level 2 course and passed that too. Now I am a level 2 Google certified educator. In 2020, I moved up to high school and started teaching biology. Still integrating Canvas and other technologies, in the spring we were forced to move to a 100% virtual learning environment, and everything had to be done through Canvas, which for me was easy. I was ready and willing to take everything online. Teachers were given the choice of synchronous or asynchronous learning based on our needs. During this time, I decided to apply and start my master's program in digital learning. For the future. Starting the 2020-2021 school year, my district gave parents and students the choice to learn virtually or in person, then decided to make everyone learn virtually for the first 3 weeks of school. Since not all the district chose virtual synchronous learning, it is not a requirement. Personally, I think that an enriched virtual is a better option, but may not be feasible at the district level. No matter what comes in the future, digital learning will most definitely be a part of it. The end. SparkAdobe.com was used to create the timeline. Google Slides was used to create the presentation, and Screencastify was used to record.